What's up, everybody? This is Jared. Just here to remind you that if you like this podcast, be sure to hit subscribe and leave us a rating or review. We appreciate you all and hope you enjoy the episode.
I'm literally on Twitter right now, and it says, I literally wish I was making this shit up. New York Times yesterday, quiz. Can you tell a Trump fridge from a Biden fridge?
I saw that.
What the contents of our refrigerators say about our politics and our assumptions. Are you kidding me?
I saw that. I didn't click on the link, but I think the Trump fridge had like mad sodas in there. And when I first saw the picture, I was like, oh, that's definitely a Trump fridge.
Why does everything have to be political? Why is my refrigerator political now?
Because the election is 5 days away.
I can't. Oh my God, I can't believe I literally looked at this right before we press record because I am shooketh.
It might go back to normal after the election, but that's a toss up in the air.
It's easy to guess who someone with a MAGA hat or Biden-Harris tote voted for, but Cool Whip or loose eggs, we wondered if it was possible to identify Trump and Biden voters based on what's in their fridge. Huh?
Who has loose eggs in their fridge?
Okay, I should take this quiz and see how I do.
I think the fridge with all the sodas, I think that was the Trump one. It looked mad unhealthy in there.
Wow, that had me shook. But anyways, it's very fitting for this episode because we are talking about managing anxiety and stress, and specifically, I'm calling it election stress or like election anxiety.
A lot of people are scared for next week. Is that rightfully so, or you think they're taking it to an extreme?
Are you scared?
No, I'm not scared.
I am.
What I got to be scared about?
A civil war?
I'm locked and loaded. I'm ready. You know what's funny? I was actually, hopefully he doesn't listen to this. I was talking to my manager on my one-on-one, and he goes, and he knows that I might have some things. And he goes, oh, did you go get some ammo yet for next week? I was like, yeah, that's a good question. I might have to go this weekend, stock up.
I know that you're joking.
I'm being dead serious.
Joking. I know, but like that is what I'm scared about.
I'm being dead serious.
That is what I'm scared about. Even if you are prepared, there's still whatever. I don't have any guns, so.
And you're in the woods too. I would be shooketh if I was you.
I'm in the woods, and
you're in the boonies. You're in the boonies.
I know every single house that supports Trump within a mile of me.
Yo,
so.
I remember when before you went and got married. Before you went and got married, and we dropped that gift off to you, this huge truck with that thing was massive Trump flag just flying down the street. I'm like, Asia, where are you living at? Jesus.
First of all, that was the first time also that I had seen that. I knew who it was because they have it on their house usually, but I've never seen them flying it out the truck.
Are they old or are they younger?
They're older, but they're not like ancient. I don't think they're retired. They run like a business, like a landscaping business or something out of their house.
Yeah, I was like, I'm in MAGA territory. I was like, I got to get out of here.
But like seriously, I don't normally suffer from. I mean, I think everybody suffers from anxiety in different ways or in different points in their life at some point, but
it doesn't like affect you on the day to day.
Exactly, ever.
You don't get lost in your anxiety. It doesn't overwhelm you or overcome your ability to navigate through life.
Correct. Why are you saying?
No, because I've recently.
Why are you saying it?
Because I've recently like started thinking about anxiety more, and when I was younger and I played sports, I let anxiety like overwhelm me, and I wasn't able to perform to the best of my ability, like playing sports. And that I think that hurt me to a certain extent. But then once I got to a certain level, I was able to overcome overcome that not fear, but overcome that anxiety and basically let it propel me to do the things that I wanted to do and to perform at a higher level rather than let it consume me. So I've been thinking about that lately. That's why I said it like that. You can actually like you can live, you can allow it to consume you and kind of like paralyze you, or you can redirect the energy and put it out to make it motivate you or push you. I think so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Sorry if it sounded kind of funny.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you clarifying because it definitely sounded like you were trying to say like the opposite. Like you had like that's not something you could ever identify with, so you were like trying to like be like, oh, like the people who let it take over their lives.
Oh no, because there's some people who actually do allow that to happen.
Yeah, yeah, but like to no fault of their own. I think when that happens, people are just there's so many things that have to be sorted out, and perhaps they're not like asking for help or seeking help. So then you
Yeah.
get to a point where it takes over your life. But I think with the election specifically, this is definitely the first time that I feel like I have been stressed out over something like external like this. Usually I'm stressing over like things that are in my control or that like I'm not doing well enough or whatever. Like your example about sports, it's like stressing over that type of stuff, like my performance.
Yeah, not even to
Um
keep it on sports. Like if you relate it to, I guess, public speaking, there's a lot of people who might be anxious or nervous in that aspect, but you just can't let it consume you.
yeah. So but my point is here, like normally the things that cause me stress and anxiety are internal things like about me. Like this is, and I think the election to some degree is about each and every one of us individually, but
Yeah,
this is something that's not, it's totally out of my control. And I feel like normally on a day-to-day basis, I do a good job being like, that's out of my control. So I'm not going to let that bother me. Like I'm
affect
just going to,
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
like like my main thing is like focusing on what I can control. So this feels like it's out of like something that's out of my control that's causing me anxiety and I or like stress,
So
and that is
let's dive into
stressful.
that. Let's dive into that. What exactly about the election is making you anxious or nervous or scared?
What exactly? um I think that no matter who wins,
It's gonna be a
there
it's gonna
there's going
be
to be
a
civil unrest.
yeah. It's gonna be a ish show.
Yeah, so no matter who wins, it's going to be civil unrest. So that's a little anxiety causing. Like I mean, I don't live, in the city of Boston where civil unrest would happen. I live in the suburbs, but then again, like I don't know what civil unrest looks like for Trump supporters who lose. You know what I mean? Like I have a hunch that they're sore losers. So I'm just I'm not the unknown of that.
Well,
And like
there's been people who said that they're going to take to the streets with
yeah,
guns if he
exactly.
does lose. So I can understand that aspect of it.
So that's causing me stress. I think another
But
thing
do you
that's
think that they're actually
stressful.
being serious and like you would have to live in fear, or you think that that was just like even with like
I mean,
the
if
left side?
history
I mean,
repeats
each side
itself.
has their radical sides, and when
Yeah,
people
definitely.
say like Antifa and the left, when they try to radicalize those individuals, you really don't. I don't think we really like whatever they say. We really don't.
Hmm.
We take it with like a grain of salt, I guess.
Maybe, but
But so
like
why would you put
it's
so
also
much faith into what the radical right would be saying? Because of the history behind it, and like they've actually proven it before.
I just think that the election is it's obviously very polarized, which we know, and race is a very prevalent topic. I mean, they're not talking about it at the debates, so there's that. But I mean, I think like
Well, they tried to.
yeah, they tried to, but I think like I think I'm actually just like scared that if the radical Trump supporters kept their word. I definitely live in not a lot of Black people live where I live. So if they wanted to find all the Black people, they probably could.
So you think you would be a target?
Yeah. I mean, and that when I say talking about history, like people have massacred, like white people have, I'm thinking about the Tulsa massacre. Like they just came in and literally took everybody out. Like it was just crazy white people with guns. Like, that was in the South, so obviously we're in Massachusetts. Things are different. It's not 1941, but the point is, like, it's not like people aren't lynching Black people right now. So and the election hasn't happened. So that's like definitely a real life fear. And like part of it is like I don't want to think that it's so far fetched that it's like, oh, like I don't think they're actually going to do anything, or I don't want to give them that power, like whatever. And then it happens and I'm totally unprepared. That's also stress. That's like also part of the stress.
Nah, I get you. Hey,
That's like heavy. That's heavy. But like these are the things I think about. And then like I stress about if Trump does win, like what the next 4 years looks like. It looks like it's just more worse, and worse. Like that's stressful.
yeah, I think if Trump wins, I think that we would see riots and protests in the streets like as soon as it's announced. If Biden wins, I think
I
that
think
it would kind of be prolonged, and there might be like one or two like huge things, but it won't be as
no.
widespread as if Biden wins. I don't think
I
people.
think that
If Trump wins, people will be taken to the streets as soon as it's announced.
yeah. I
ASAP.
agree, but I think on the flip side of that, if Biden wins, they're going to take to the streets. Perhaps, I mean, we're a blue state, so perhaps with joy, and then the opposers are going to have to counter, and then civil unrest because they're going to be mad because I just get a hunch that they might be sore losers.
Yeah, like you said. I mean, regardless of who wins, it's going to be civil unrest, and it's going to be kind of nutty.
So now that we've literally petrified everybody listening to this podcast now by building your anxiety, talking about all the things that make me anxious.
Oh yeah, because when this comes out, this would be the day before the election.
Yeah, and we're not going to know the results on the day, so
No,
whatever.
I don't think
But
so either.
the reason why I wanted to talk about this was because I am trying very hard to find ways to manage this, and it's been a challenge, but I want to be able to share those with you and our listeners, and then also hopefully hear back to understand what y'all are doing to manage, because I'm just out here trying to figure it the fuck out.
To manage what? Anxiety in general or stress in general or just the election specifically?
Both. I think I definitely have not had this much stress and anxiety about anything that is out of my control before. So managing that as a whole, and then also managing even just like what do I need to do to take care of myself. Like, so for example, next week, right? Like I said this on a this is one of the things I was going to bring up as like something y'all could do too, but I was thinking about next week, and I literally from 8 a.m. to 4:30 a.m. 4:30 p.m. am on Zoom calls for work every single day, Monday through Friday, not nonstop. Like almost sometimes I can't. I don't even go to the bathroom.
It's supercharged.
So yeah, that's like a whole nother episode. But like next week, if the result doesn't turn out the way I hope it will turn out, I might be emotional, and I would like prefer to not have to be on a Zoom that day.
Do you have to have your camera on?
I mean, a lot of my meetings are not like they're one on one or three people. It's like I mean I work with donors, so it's like not. But even my internal meeting. So, anyways, I said I went to this. We have these things at our job where it's called like straight talk, and like all the members, the members of the senior leadership team take turns, and you go and you can essentially ask anything you want. It's like an hour, and it's like no question is whatever.
It's like a safe
So
space.
nah,
Oh, not really.
that's the idea. It's the idea. So I mean, I go and I ask questions. They're about sick of me because I be asking the most wildest stuff. But I went and I asked a question. I was like, "Have we thought about?" Because I was reading this article that my coworker sent me about how your employer can be thoughtful and like care about their employees during election week, and it's like um, push out deadlines that have some leeway to like give people less, like I don't want to have to stress about a deadline and like the fate of my life slash country, or like have like a no meeting day, or obviously like you guys have the day off on election day, but like I said, that's not the day the results are going to come out. So like it was a whole article about what employers can do to
Like
just be mindful.
yeah,
Yeah,
prep their employees
like
kind of.
just be mindful that you have employees that like everybody's affected by this. So hello, why don't we just say that out loud and be like, okay, we have a general understanding, like we shouldn't have any meetings, and then just be like, okay, bet.
Yeah, like my company, the leadership is like they're super, like they're kind of like you. They're it seems that they're very anxious and scared of what's going to happen next week because like our offices are closed, but we still have people going in every now and then, and they're making sure that nobody goes into the office at all next week. And
Wow.
yeah, and they keep
That's what
reaching
I'm
out,
talking
and
about.
like security keeps reaching out to the specific buildings and asking them like if they have uh what is it, if they have like boards to put up in case there's protests or riots and things like that. Like
See?
they're going all out, and it's kind of like I wasn't thinking about it that much, but then
Then you got scared.
yeah, they keep hitting me up about certain questions, and I'm like, and then they're like, oh, nobody can go into the office, and I'm like, wait, should I be scared of next week like everybody else? Like I feel
So
funny
are
not
you
being as anxious and nervous about it, but I'm like, what's going on? Like, do they know something that I don't?
well, I was going to ask you, so you're not anxious or nervous about it at all? You're just living you're in a bubble by yourself,
Yeah, I mean, no
happy?
matter what happens, it's going to be an SHIT show regardless, and people are going to feel a certain type of way about it. And obviously, I know who I want to win, and I know who I don't want to win. But just like last time, you never know what can happen. And I don't know. I'm just like, whatever happens, it is what it is. Just make sure you keep your head on a swivel and you're prepared for anything. You know what I mean? Like I won't be out.
That alone
I won't be
doesn't
out.
cause
And
you anxiety?
nah, that's how I live life. Keep your head on a swivel. You never know what can happen. And
Oh
whatever
my
happens, it is
god.
what it is. That's how I live life.
Jared hashtag Jared's life facts.
Yeah, you can't
Keep your
just be.
head on a
I
swivel.
mean, you can't live. You can't be living your life in worry. And I don't know. I think we're in a better place than obviously what has happened in the past. But if Biden wins, I honestly don't think that there's going to be people protesting in the street with guns trying to shoot people. I mean,
Well, that makes me feel better because I'm not
I
100%
know
sure.
if Trump wins, I already know there's going to be tons of people out in the streets. I know that for a fact.
I know. So how can you say you think that it's not going to be the other way? I think the same people are. I think they're going to be out.
If they are out, I don't think that we would see it as much as if the other side was out. I feel like obviously the Trump supporters they'd be out. They have their protests and their things like that. But for some reason, I really don't see the media like focusing on them that much. So I don't know. It's kind of like they
I
play.
think there's more of them than you think they are. There are.
There definitely is. There definitely is, but I just don't see it. It is not coming on my timeline. It's not coming on my TV.
Yeah,
So
that's because your timeline is curated. It's social media. It's curated for you. Have you watched The Social Dilemma? I know you have.
yeah, uh, that drone was kind of that's propaganda to me. It's not
Oh my
it's
god!
not curated. I follow certain people, so the people that I follow, they're putting things on my timeline. The timeline is not blocking unless I tell them to block what those specific individuals put on my timeline. Like I see stuff about Trump and all these crazy Republicans all the
Yeah,
time.
but your timeline knows that you don't like Trump, so it's not going to send you a whole bunch. It's going to send you stuff every now and then, so you know what's
My
going
time.
on. But
Why
it's
does my
not going to
timeline
send
know
you.
that? I retweet facts and I retweet the real
Oh
stuff.
God. Okay,
So
we're getting off subject.
there's times when I retweet stuff. Like I just retweeted Lil Wayne, and I don't know if you saw it, but he just put up.
That has nothing to do with this.
What do you? he put up a tweet
Oh.
and he is a picture of him with Donald Trump, and it seems like he's supporting Donald
Yeah.
Trump. So I retweeted it because I just know people are going to feel a certain type of way about that. So I retweeted it, not to like
You're an instigator.
not to cause an issue, but I just retweeted it to have it on the timeline. Like a retweet doesn't mean agreement. It just means, hey, I just want to retweet it. Just like a like, if somebody likes something on Twitter or something,
That's your
maybe
perspective.
they want to come back to actually read an article or something, or come back to that so they like it, so it's saved. There's different aspects than you just retweeting it because you agree with it, and you liking something because you actually like it and agree with it. But yeah, that's my opinion.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, so you have no stress and anxiety. Must be fucking nice.
I mean, I have stress and anxiety, but not over the election. Like, you go vote, you do your civil duty, and what happens happens.
But I also think like we have to address there are people out there, and I know there are because they're in my family, and I came to this realization when I was on vacation with them, who watch the news literally on a 24/7 loop. Like in the background of everything they do is like CNN 24/7 nonstop in the
That
middle
sounds
of the night,
depressing.
in the middle of the day when they're doing other things, just on a loop. And I don't watch the news because I don't believe the news. And
And the news
I
is sad and
also,
it's depressing. I don't know why you
yeah, and
would
I
watch
also
it
don't,
every day. Oh,
yeah. So when I was with them and they were doing that, I was like, you guys watch this all day. And I'm like, no wonder you are stressing. Like, I thought I was stressing. I don't even watch the news. All I get is really like social media or like specific articles that I choose to read. But essentially, turn the news off, y'all. You don't need to watch the news 24/7 on a loop. You don't. It's not going to change. It's the same news. It's the same CNN posting everything they hate about Trump, Fox News posting everything they like about Trump. That's all it is. So it is okay. Like I didn't watch either of the elections. I don't know if I told you
give me
that.
the
I mean
debates.
elections. Yeah. The only debate that I watched was the vice presidential one. I didn't watch either of the presidentials.
Well, that was a little bit more organized and better than the other ones.
That's why I watched the vice presidential one because I wanted to see Kamala. But I didn't watch either of the presidential ones because number one, I didn't feel like anybody was going to say anything that was going to change my mind or tell me anything new, which I was correct. And normally I watch the debate to understand the policies that are being presented from both sides of like both candidates and their views. But this debate wasn't about that.
Yeah,
These debates were
you
about
couldn't with this
arguing.
one, yeah.
It wasn't about that. So why would I watch that? It was just going to piss me off. Everybody got pissed off when he said stand up, stand down, and whatever the fuck he said to the Proud Boys.
Stand back and stand by.
Yeah. And like the real thing is I'll get all the highlights from some news source that I select myself the next day. Like it's fine. And so I say that to say turn off your televisions. Literally.
Yeah,
Read a
the thing
book.
about news for me is just like they each have an agenda, and I just want to watch the news to get facts about what's actually happening without any bias. But nowadays it's so polarized, I don't think you really can. And we've said that on this podcast multiple times. Like we've actually asked the listeners, like, where can we actually find just factual news with no bias? And I think a couple of people have sent us some suggestions, so we're asking again. But no, watching the news for 24/7 all day, that sounds
On a
depressing.
loop.
Yeah, that sounds depressing. I wouldn't want to do that. And even if it's like not politics or COVID, it's just like the news is just filled with like just bad, negative
Sad.
stuff most of the time. And I don't want to bring that energy around me or the people I'm with.
Yes.
I would rather watch something else.
That's what I said to them when we were on vacation together. And it was like a bunch of my cousins, but we were all on vacation. And that's when the first debate happened. And so everybody gathered in the living room to watch it. And I literally went upstairs by myself because and I said this on my IG story, but I was like, I'm not about to put myself through something that is literally just going to stress me the fuck out. Neither of them are going to say anything substantial. And neither of them did. So, and I know who I'm voting for no matter what. And my whole family was like, it's history in the making. You have to watch this. This is a story. This is going to be in the history books. It's the debate. I'm like, yeah, I'll read it in the history books. I was there. I don't need to watch this. Like, and guess what? They were all up late. My aunt the next morning was like, I literally didn't sleep at all. Like, I was really, really anxious all night. And I was like, told you.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people who always talk about stress and anxiety and things like that. And I think some of those times they put that on themselves. Because like you said, why would like something's gonna make you feel a certain type of way. Why are you gonna try to put yourself through that still?
Because they
Doesn't make
feel
some sense.
obligated to, because they have to then go on social media and
They
argue
already
with people.
they
It's like,
already know who they're voting. Like a good amount of
I
people
know.
already know who they're voting for. I'm assuming your family members do. So if they know that this is going to make them feel a certain type of way, what's the point of watching it? It's
Exactly.
kind of like
So,
or I guess the debates. They kind of were like a car crash. Like you want to look away, but
yeah,
go
yeah,
into
yeah, you
everything
can't.
you can't. So
Yeah. So yeah, they were like thought I was so weird, and I went upstairs by myself and I like meditated and like listened to a podcast and worked and looked
see
at the
that
view,
that's
and it was
smart
a
though.
beautiful night.
You were
Yeah.
aware that
Super aware.
yeah, that if you watched that you would have been put in a bad place.
Super.
There's other people who are aware in those situations and they know what not to do or what not to put their energy towards, but there's also other people who aren't, and
Yeah.
they know that
And but
they
I
know that's going to make them feel a certain type of way, but they do it anyway.
but I feel like, and I think it's hard sometimes too when we're with our family and friends, because anytime you get together with anybody now, politics always comes up. It's literally just like at the surface of what everybody wants to talk about, and it can be really hard to pull yourself out of that. Like if someone's bringing up politics to you and you don't want to really talk about politics, like it's okay to be like, I'm literally not talking about this. I say that all the time. Like somebody at work will be like, oh, because, and I'll be like, I'm not talking about this. I'm sorry, I can't. And they think I'm kidding. Like they'll laugh, and I'm dead ass, because if I talk about it like I'm doing right now, I'm going to get worked up.
Yeah, you don't want to share that with work. There's certain places you shouldn't talk about politics and religion.
But like, I don't want to talk about politics with anybody. I don't want to talk about it with my friends or my family. But everybody wants to talk about it right now. So it's like what I'm saying is sometimes it's hard to recognize in that moment that if you talk about politics or if you watch the debate because everyone in your household is doing it, like you feel obligated to, because you don't know how to essentially just say no, but you have to. Like at
Yeah.
some point, you literally just have to be like, no.
And there's times when I guess people could say something that would rub you the wrong way and you just can't hold your tongue. So then you have to respond.
Yeah, but if you don't put yourself in that position at all, like I'll stop the conversation before we even get started.
But what
Like
if they
not
just say
talking about
something
this.
out of the blue? Like they just say it like it's not even on brand. They just come out of nowhere and just say it. But then you hear it and now you have to react to it because it just rubbed you totally wrong.
Oh God.
Like that happens.
Totally.
But no, but to your point, like there's things that aren't even political that still get politicized and I don't even want to talk about it. Like, for example, today, um, I was with a vendor at work and he started talking about COVID. And I was like, I really don't want to talk about COVID because I don't know if you think this is like a hoax and like I don't know if you think that you shouldn't be
Yeah.
wearing masks.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna keep it at a very just broad and general level. So I don't even want to like interact with you like that. But even like with COVID, like it got politicized and the whole mask thing. Like if people bring that up and they're like, "Oh, something about mask," and they don't want to wear them, blah blah blah. Like you have to react to that. It
Yeah.
just puts you in a weird place.
I'll be like, you're nasty. Just kidding.
Like how is this a hoax when 220 plus 220,000, 220 100,000? No, I'm tripping. 200. we're back at this again.
220, 100,000.
220,000
Yeah.
plus
I know what
people
you meant to say.
have died from COVID. So there's no way that you can say this is a hoax, no matter what side of the political fence you're on. And this shouldn't even be politicized, but
Yeah.
we have brought it to that level. So
Yeah, we totally have. And honestly, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before, but people who think that wearing masks is bad for your health, honestly, can just. I'm not trying to be like them, us, make haters. Honestly, if you are a non-mask wearer and you're listening to this, so be it. But like,
You're
just
tripping.
keep it to yourself. Yeah, like don't bring that over here. Stay inside if you don't want to wear a mask. But my point is, I kind of like masks. I don't know why I was letting people breathe on me before.
I don't like masks, but I definitely like the whole stay 6 feet away from me.
Yes. Were you actually breathing down my neck in the Chipotle line before this? Because that makes me cringe now.
Even before that, people like too close to me in line. I'll turn around, I look at them. I'm like, bro, what's up with you? Back up. Why are you on top of me? And I was literally thinking about this today. Like, people just crammed into an elevator. Like, you know how uncomfortable that felt beforehand, and now after COVID, I hope that just stops. Because why are 15 people in this elevator that fits 7 people?
Oh my god.
Because we're always in a rush, and we're always so like we're always trying to get somewhere so fast. Like, we can't just take a while, be patient, maybe let the elevator go and catch another elevator. Like, maybe take the stairs.
I'm just saying I love a mask. I like the extra thick ones that feel like a major shield. Like
I like the 6 feet rule. Stay away from me. And then we don't have to shake hands anymore. I like.
yes, I love no handshaking.
And then my hands are usually clammy too, so I
Yes, they are.
don't. How do you know?
I'm shaking your hand. I've seen you nervous. Anyways,
I feel like we're going on a tangent.
yeah, we are. We're totally going on a tangent, but this is actually a really therapeutic for me right now. I think too something I've been doing, which you know, is I've been doing like little weekend getaways. So helpful with the current anxiety that I'm
I
having.
didn't know that. I just see you out every week somewhere different. Like, where were you
You
just
do
at?
know.
I do not know that. You never told me, like, oh, this is a thing that I do. I just see you on Instagram like everybody else, just in a different place every weekend.
Oh, I'm not going around a lot of people. I just the 2 weeks ago we went 2 weeks ago I had a really bad week at work, like tears. And I think that was the week, whatever. It was the week that we didn't have an episode because it was Indigenous Peoples Day. So I don't even think we talked that week, but it was a pretty shit fucking week. And Terrence obviously saw that I was a mess and probably felt the effects of it. So he was like, okay, let's just get away. So we just went for like a Saturday into Boston.
Yeah, but where'd you go last week though? It was like a beach.
Yeah, last week I was in New Hampshire. I was in Rye Beach, New Hampshire, and one of my friends, my best friend, her parents have a house there, and they were away for the weekend, so they were just like, "Oh, do you guys want to go by and like check on it or whatever?" And they have like a fireplace, so they were like, "You can stay overnight," and it's obviously freezing. We weren't like on the beach, but we took the dog and we like walked, the beach path or whatever. It was honestly, and that was like not planned. That was kind of impromptu, but and I wasn't gonna go because I was like, it's only an hour away. But it was so nice, like highly, highly recommend. And both these times I went away was only for one night, Saturday night. And
It was good enough for the mental.
it was so good for the mental. Like highly recommend. And I know it's COVID, but there's a lot of different things you can do to get away. There you can book like a little cabin on Airbnb, take your little self up north. You missed probably the leaves are falling off, but I'm just offering a suggestion because it really helped me. The other thing I wanted to tell you that I think you're going to be surprised about, we'll see by your reaction. I found this thing that's like it was like a chart. One of our listeners actually sent it to us about like what high functioning anxiety looks like, which I never really put a lot of thought to. I want to read these to you and see what your reactions are.
I think this might go back to what I said earlier in the beginning of the pod, but yeah, read it.
What? What did you say in the beginning?
Like, some people could take the anxiety and, I guess, redirect the energy and make it propel them or motivate them
No.
to do what they need to do.
That's not what this is.
Oh, okay.
These are actions that you're doing to try to mask the fact that you're anxious, and it's not actually helping because you're not addressing the problem, I guess.
Okay, read them.
Okay, so I'm going to read these to you. So it says high functioning anxiety. What you see might be someone who's helpful, but how it feels to that person might be something will go wrong if I don't do everything myself. So it's like their anxiety is fueling their actions. Let me read you another one. What you see is organized. How it feels is my mind frequently jumps to the worst case scenario and I feel out of control if I'm not prepared. I think that's me.
The first one is definitely you. I feel like these are like normal.
Let me just read the next one. Let me just read them, okay? The next one says, what you see is hardworking, how it feels. I'm not naturally talented or intelligent, so I need to work harder than everybody else. Does that make more sense?
That does make sense. And I feel like there's a good amount of people who feel that way.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's a good amount of people. Okay, the next one says, what you might see is detail-oriented. How it feels is I'm fearful of being blamed and criticized if I make even the smallest mistake.
So as you read this, you're saying what you see. So it's me looking at a person and me seeing that person being detail-oriented, but
Correct.
that person actually is detail-oriented because of the high-functioning anxiety.
Correct. As opposed to someone who's detail oriented, not because they're fearful of being blamed, but because they just are like they're on their shit. Okay, next one. This one is like a yes person. So what you see is a yes person, how it feels if I say no, I will be letting people down. The next one says what you see is self-sufficient. How it feels if I ask for help, people will think I'm not good enough. That's a thing. Like people don't ask for help.
Yeah, that's like to me. These are all normal to me.
Well, anxiety is normal. Anxiety is normal.
Yeah, but I guess you putting like high functioning anxiety on it just makes it. I don't know.
The point of it is like if you see someone with these traits,
tendencies.
Yeah, like the next one is active. I don't know how to switch off and relax without feeling guilty. And then the last one is confident. Sometimes I chatter out of nervousness, then overanalyze everything I've said. So it's like you might see someone as confident and you're like, oh, wow, like they have it together. But that person might have a lot of anxiety and they're just high function. They just can function really well with their anxiety, but that doesn't mean that they're not struggling. But you would never know to say like, hey, are you good? Because they are so high functioning. Because on the outside, it doesn't look like they're struggling because the traits you see are helpful, organized, hardworking, detailed.
Yeah, because all the traits that you just named, they sound like those are positive things.
Exactly.
So if anxiety is pushing you to be a better person, what's the issue with it?
Because if you don't deal with the fact that like it's okay if you fail, it's okay to get criticism, it's okay, then it's gonna literally perpetually eat you alive. Because what you're seeing is external and you're saying that's a good outcome of it. But if you're literally keeping yourself up at night because you can't stop thinking about what you said in that meeting that happened literally 2 days ago, that's a problem.
Yeah, but I think that's deeper. To me, that's deeper than anxiety.
No, I think that's the literal definition of anxiety.
That's very interesting.
Isn't it? I'll post this in the somewhere.
That's a whole article, right?
No, it was actually like an Instagram post, but I'll post it. I'll link it to the episode description. So yeah, essentially, I mean,
obviously, if anything's eating you up inside, then that's an issue. But
yeah, just definitely ask for help. Reach out to somebody, ask for help.
And it kind of sounds
take
like
care of yourself. Yeah,
like what you were saying. Like from the outside, it looks like this person has everything together, and they might be looked at as like the strong person. But you always need to check on your strong friends and the people who you deem as strong because they still might be going through something themselves, and you would never know unless you ask, unless they disclose that. So
Definitely. Well, I mainly wanted to just talk about this today because I think a lot of people can identify. I think I'm not the only one who has stress and anxiety about the elections, even though you don't. And yeah, those are just some things that have been working for me. I did some weekend getaways. I'm like Aquarius life, so I'll lock myself in a room by myself for hours if I have to get some clarity and pull it together. So don't be afraid to like take time for yourself, ask for help.
So, like, what else do you do if you like can't get away? Like, what are some other ways that you can handle stress and you personally?
I read. I play with my dog. Dogs are very therapeutic. I go outside if I can and it's not 25 fucking degrees. I probably would feel a lot better if I worked out, but that's not happening right now. And I also try to watch like something funny or just something mindless, like to take my mind off stuff, but or listen to podcasts. So yeah, I'm hoping that that's what this also serves for someone too, just listening to a podcast to like let it out. So, what are your tips? How do you stay not anxious, Mr. No anxiousness over here, anxiety over
I
here?
mean, I have anxiety, but there's just certain things that I have anxiety for.
So, how do you deal with it?
It depends on the situation. Anxiety, stress. I mean, I take a step back, look at the situation, might take some deep breaths, might go work out. Working out definitely helps relieve stress for me.
Yeah,
Um,
I was going to say that. I
and
was going to guess that.
and I mean, in regards to stress, like I always look at situations like, oh, this could be worse. So whatever I'm stressing about, I'm like, well, it's not that bad. Like I'm not sick. I'm not dead. I'm not disabled. I don't know. I look at it like it could be worse.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's,
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, maybe that doesn't like when you say it out
No,
loud,
that's like the concept of gratitude. It's like the concept of, like, that's
but it doesn't
another thing
sound
I
healthy
do.
though. If you think about it, I guess
Yeah,
from like hearing me say it, it doesn't really sound that healthy. But for me,
it's not it's not healthy because you should always address the root of the anxiety. However, that is a tactic I use. I write down things that I'm grateful for and reflect on those things. Switching gears before we wrap it up. um, we are trying to rally the DWA listeners. You guys are truly lit individuals. We appreciate each and every one of you. And we think that y'all should have some sort of identification, a name for our community. And so far, Jared doesn't like any of my suggestions. So
I
we
mean,
want to.
DWA fam wasn't bad.
You said, eh.
Yeah, so we could think about some more. I didn't say I didn't like it. I just said I think we could think about some other options.
Your text was literally EH. Eh. So I'm proposing that the community, as Jared said, be called DWA fam. I think hashtag DWA fam has a good ring to it. But we want to hear you guys' opinions too. So we're gonna be on our IG stories, taking your suggestions and doing some polls. So please make sure you engage with us over there and give your suggestions. Do
Definitely.
you have any suggestions?
I said DWA gang gang, but that's a no.
That is a definite no. But other than that, y'all, if you like this episode and this podcast, do us a favor and subscribe and then give us a rating and write a review. Tell a friend and tell a friend to tell a friend.
Yes, make sure you're following us on Instagram, Done with Adulting Pod. Also, we're on Twitter, Done WTH Adulting. Make sure you follow us, engage with us, share on your stories, things like that. We appreciate it.
Yes, and by the time this episode comes out, you guys will have access to the new merch. So we're so excited. We hope you like it.
Yeah, we got a great reception the first round, so we definitely had to do a second wave. So make sure you guys get your merch while it lasts, because I think we're definitely going to sell out, hopefully.
Hopefully. manifest it. So yeah, that's all we got, Jared. Oh, don't get too messed up at Halloween,
Oh
okay?
yeah, I haven't drank in 3 weeks, so I'm gonna get obliterated on Halloween day
Why do you have to say obliterated?
because I plan on being obliterated.
Well, I hope you plan on being awake for our meeting at
Oh,
11 a.m.
I
on
definitely want to
Sunday.
wake up the next day. So yes, I plan on that.
All
Don't
right,
be
y'all.
don't don't be too anxious over the election. It's only an
I
election.
won't. I'll try. I'll try. But also, everybody, you heard Governor Baker. Don't be having no Halloween parties, okay? This is Corona, all right? It's not safe to be indoors, close proximity for more than several hours sharing food.
Yes, COVID is still out there, still a threat, and I'm tired of being inside. So let's try and get this under
Please
wraps.
keep the Corona to yourself, okay?